My pen not working. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Facebook Live, Periscope. This is show number 38. Is Clemson the new kings of college football? Here we go. Oh, no. Well, we're not going to start like that. We're going to record it first. How about that? Yeah.
Probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
There we go. We're in business now.
Hey, hit the wrong button sometimes. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is show number 38. Thank you for tuning in tonight here on Facebook Live and on Periscope and on iHeartRadio and on iTunes. On the table today, we have Chris.
What's good?
Mr. Carolina, we got Megan.
Hello.
We got Brandon.
What's up, everybody?
And we got the Harvard guy.
Yo, what's happening, y'all?
What's going on? Great sports weekend this past weekend. A lot of drama, should I say, and a lot of sports events that's happened over the weekend. So we got a lot to talk about today. But make sure you follow us on all of our social media, on Facebook and on Twitter. And also make sure you follow our podcast on iHeartRadio and on iTunes, as we are trying to get more viewers and more listeners. So make sure you share with your friends, share with your family, and make sure you follow us at the Walk-Ons Radio Show. And then visit our website at freethinkersradio.com. And we'd love to hear from you throughout the night. You can comment on our Facebook. So you can go to our Facebook Live video and then comment at the bottom of the screen. And also give us a call at 563-999-1634. You had to be part of the show tonight. If you got any comments or questions or any kind of topics you want to discuss with the crew tonight, make sure you give us a call at 563-999-1634. I'm pretty sure Chris would love to talk to you too. Jeremy Johnson.
Keep that same energy, Jeremy Johnson.
Jeremy Johnson.
What's good?
If we get Jeremy Johnson to call in, that'll be a big win for us. So, Jeremy, if you're watching this, make sure you go give us a call tonight too. Let's go straight into the pick six. Over the weekend, we had high school football championships. Dorman versus Dusfort. Dusfort won the 5A championships on Saturday. We actually got Coach Knotts calling in tonight to talk to him about his victory over the Dorman Cavaliers. So Dusfort, congratulations to them for a 5A championship. In 4A, South Point got their championship over Hartsfield. In 3A, Dillon defeated Chapman. Abbeville defeated Banbury Earhart in 2A. And then in single A, Lamar defeated Baptist Hill. So congratulations to those schools.
Good games.
On winning their championships over the weekend at Williams-Bright Stadium. Next topic in pick six, we got some coaching vacancies and hires.
As the coach's turn.
Oh, yeah, it's a soap opera.
I'm so sick of this already.
It's a lot of stuff going on in the coaching world in the college football realm. And also in the NFL, if y'all heard about George McAdoo, that's how you say his name? McAdoo?
Listen, all I know is I call him Mr. Cheesecake Factory menu size player. Get that man up out of here.
Yeah, he's finally gone for the Giants. But in college football, Jimbo Fisher is now in Texas A&M. Herm Edwards is back in the college football
Shout out Coach
world.
Herm.
He's at Arizona State.
You play to win the game.
Play to win the game.
Exactly.
Coach Frost from UCF is now at Nebraska. He left after their undefeated season and win the conference championship. Also, some other rumors. Venables might be going to Arkansas. Possibility. That's a rumor. And then Coach Sumner, who was the head coach of Texas A&M before, is now being considered at UCF, which probably be a pretty good hire for them. And then just today, Willie Taggart from Oregon is now the head coach of Florida State Seminoles.
It's good.
And then still, Tennessee does not have a head coach still. But they're making strides, though.
They're not making no strides.
What stride?
They're making no strides.
They got Philip Fulmer as their athletic director.
Exactly. They're not making strides.
I think it's a pretty good thing. If they had to get rid of somebody, because, beforehand, they was not making no great decisions in Tennessee.
I sent my resume in there.
At this point, anybody can coach out there.
I know, it's wide open.
Well, this Philip Fulmer's not the AD of Tennessee. And then also some other rumors for them. Les Miles might be the head coach, or Chad Morris, who used to be coach at Clemson and now the head coach at SMU, is rumored to be in the running. And then also Tennessee favorite T. Martin from Southern Cal is also favored to be the head coach at Tennessee.
Well, now T. Martin hasn't coached.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's the OC at USC. I don't know if he has enough experience for that job. Now, he's a Tennessee guy, but I don't think he has the
That's what
experience
the
myself.
issue was all along for him. Is like,
Yeah.
So what do you think then? they need to? What are the qualifications? What makes him a good coach for the team?
You can do it, Megan.
I'm up
At this point, yeah, go right ahead.
If the
Anybody can do it.
money's right,
Yeah, all the coaches
let's
turned it
do
down.
it.
Yo, Braylon, you don't put your resume in, bro?
But we keep track of that throughout the week. I'm pretty sure they make a decision before New Year's is out. But if they still not make a decision before New Year's come, then of course that's just another additional
That's a
problem.
hard job. I mean,
It is.
It's a tough job.
That's for coaching. 'Cause I did high school coaching before, and doing that is also a tough job to make sure you keep kids on track at the same time, develop them at the same time. In college, it's just as hard as for keeping track.
But would you want to do it? Like, they're so unorganized. Like, I don't want to be a part of this situation.
Yeah, specifically at Tennessee, it's a tough job.
It's a tough job because you don't have a lot of recruits in the state of Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't have good high school football.
No.
They try to recruit nationally, and first you got to be a good recruiter. And I think T. Martin, that's where he sold his oats. So,
Braylon says
But-
link to the website.
I'm just not sold in his experience right now.
No. But one day they get it straight. But we'll see what happens. Next topic, over the weekend, in North Carolina State game, NC State took on the Wolfpack of NC State, and Ty Solomon, one of the players on the team, he passed out on the bench and had to be performed CPR during the game. So it was delayed about 40 minutes, but as of recently, we heard that he is now doing better and is expected to be released real soon. But I'm pretty sure that was a scary situation on this past weekend.
Yeah, anything to do with cardiac arrest is always a big deal. Like, it's
Right.
nothing to
Yeah.
play with.
Yeah, so we will be looking out for him. Ty Solomon, we pray for you. Pray for your quick release and quick speedy recovery. And we'd love to see what happens from there. Next topic, for bowl season, pretty sure y'all have heard of the top 4 in college football, and y'all heard what South Carolina is going to. We're going to the Outback Bowl, Gary.
Oh,
Moving onions.
yeah. You know,
Going back to Tampa.
I'm waiting to see that Clowney hit. That thing's going to be all over the tube once again.
I'm pretty sure Clowney will be there in attendance to
Yeah.
be commemorated of his great attack. I'm pretty sure the helmet is still floating somewhere, huh?
Man,
actually-
that's awesome. You know, that play happened on the first of the year, and that was SportsCenter's top player of the year.
Yeah, it was top play for a number of months.
Start the year off right.
But South Carolina will be taking on Michigan on New Year's Day, I believe, or the day after. No, it's on New Year's Day.
My birthday. Let's get this win, fellas.
That'll be a great matchup against the Wolverines. Clemson will be taking on Alabama in the Sugar Bowl.
Round 3.
We're going to have great discussions about that today on the show. But Clemson will be taking on Alabama. And then for both these teams, though, they back in the bowl once again, same time. South Carolina, that'll be their 5th time going to Outback Bowl. Clemson will be in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, and then take on Alabama for the 3rd straight year at that, too. So we should see how that goes. Next topic, LeVar Ball.
Everybody's favorite father.
Pulls his son, LeAngelo Ball, out of UCLA. Why? And we need to know more details, but this is not the only time he pulled one of his sons out of school. He pulled LaMelo from the high school basketball team. So
Angelo getting ready for the draft. That's what he says.
Apparently he believes that he can get his sons into the NBA without any kind of preparatory.
Well, you see the one that's in there right now, shooting less than 30% from the field, and these guys are just dogging him out. They were waiting on him to come into the league.
Oh, yeah. It's just like fresh meat. Like, they knew that with just 1 year of time. I mean, I understand some people are blessed to go from high school to NBA. Kobe did it, and some other players did it. Kevin Garnett did it. But, not everybody is
It's rare.
capable of doing that.
Everybody's not LeBron.
No.
I feel like LeVar's comments, throughout the whole process, I think it put such a huge spotlight and so much pressure on him. I think it's made other NBA point guards really want to go at him, just eat him alive when they play against him. I think he's not ready for that yet.
No, it's showing. It's showing on Lonzo, and I'm pretty sure it's going to show on LeAngelo when he decides to go to the next level. But is this a mistake for doing that to his sons? I mean, I'm pretty sure Lonzo, he probably got away with it from going to UCLA for a year and then going to the NBA. But putting LeAngelo for actually doing a game and pulling LaMelo from high school, is this a good sign?
No, it's not a good sign.
Well, we got to know the reason why, though. Like, why? What's the?
Well, he said he was upset that UCLA hadn't brought him back to the active roster yet. But I mean, you got to serve that suspension.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
it's more than just playing ball. You got to go through university policies and this and that. And first, I don't think the kid is ready. So if he wants to pull him out and train him and let him go over and play overseas, because he's not going to get drafted in the NBA, I'll
You say you
stake,
feel comfortable in that space?
I'm saying that right now.
I'll stake whatever I have in my 401k on that. That's not much, but yeah, he's not ready for the NBA right now, and he goes overseas, he's going to get killed overseas.
He goes
think so?
some weight.
Yeah, those European players are wanting to come over and get their stuff over here in the NBA, so they're going to eat him alive.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a basketball league in China, I'm pretty sure that they have Marbury as one of the.
He can't go back to China.
That's what I was going to say.
That's not gonna happen.
I just say,
If he go back, he's staying.
yeah.
He's staying this time.
Nah, we got you this time. All right.
It's gonna be just like OJ.
They did
try
get
that a second
Marbury a statue.
And Trump
so.
is not going back to get him.
Oh no.
He didn't even say thank you.
I don't care how many big baller brand shoes you send. Doesn't matter.
And then last story the night before we wrap up, there's a team in Montana, girls basketball team, who lost a game 102-0.
And the coach talking about they did everything to score. Did y'all try cheating?
Absolutely.
Something.
Yeah, the score was 59-0 at halftime. And then actually they started with 5 players. Most of them was sick, but it went down to 3 and 4 players after injuries. So
Why don't you just like have 2 or 3 of them stand on one side of the court?
If
the
LaMelo
entire
can cherry
game?
pick, why they can't cherry
Yeah,
pick?
just cherry pick the whole game.
At what point do you forfeit, honestly? I mean, come on.
when we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Knox or Dust Force. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, it was total debacle. If a team is getting beat like that, let's go ahead and forfeit.
All right, for everybody on Facebook, when you get a chance, go to my Instagram page at Mr. Carolina 88. Again, it's at Mr. Carolina 88. We got a good cause here. They got a Christmas toy drive going on. It's going to be on December 9th at 1850 Park Circle at the Lurie Center. We always got to take care of the kids at that time of year. 'Tis the season, folks.
Yes.
Think about everybody else. Shout out to the Columbia Sigmas for putting this on. A friend of mine's involved with it. They got me involved, so I wanted to shout that out. Again, check out my Instagram page for all the details at Mr. Carolina 88. Take care of the kids, folks.
Plus and iHeartRadio All Access. Your radio now on demand.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris. Tune into the Walk-Ons on Free Speakers Radio.
Okay.
So, I mean, I really want to know, what do you guys think? What are the qualifications to being a good coach? That is,
Knowing how to coach, knowing how to recruit.
of course.
You gotta
Of course,
have
that's a
some
given,
experience,
But
though.
Exactly.
it's a little bit more than just that.
Depending on what school you're at, the boosters got to like you.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that
Charlie
too,
Strong's
yeah.
issue in Texas.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me Charlie Strong's not a good coach. The boosters didn't like him.
Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about Tennessee, first, people always say, well, we want a Tennessee guy, we want a Carolina guy or a Clemson guy or what have you. So they're looking for someone that's been to that school, knows the ins and out, and T. Martin would be that person. But if he's going to be that person and have this much experience, he's going to have a really good staff around him. And I don't know if he's ready for that Tennessee fan base.
I think
Because
I
it's so
think he
much
can handle
pressure.
it. It may take a minute in the beginning, but after what you went through with Butch Jones, I mean, and all this
Well,
off season, all this stuff right here in the middle of the season.
this is not the only time Tennessee has been in the spotlight. They've been in the spotlight with Lane Kiffin. They got a spotlight with Dooley, especially what happened with the Foreman situation some years ago. So
You check out these message boards of these SEC teams.
I know it's
it's outrageous.
I know.
And he was out here on the West Coast. He was in Tennessee late in the 1990s or what have you. Look, we got internet really going now, social media. Yeah.
I think whoever takes that job just to understand that patience is not a virtue for Tennessee fans. So they're going to expect you to win from day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no such thing as a rebuild process there. No.
Yeah, and Tennessee, they know for their big tradition. They know for their the style of play, especially when Fulmer was in his prime at Tennessee, especially when they won the national championship some years ago. But
98.
yeah, it's been some time. but
Listen, what have you done for me lately?
Is that a top job anymore? I mean,
no, it's not a top job.
It's not a top job anymore.
It's been irrelevant for the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And the way they let Fulmer go, I know they had some down years when things were not as great with Fulmer, but at the same time, great coaches got to go through losing seasons at force to rebuild a team, and they want to keep on winning, so they chose to do that. And now they got these mediocre coaches, and Lane Kiffin wasn't mediocre at the time, but now he knows how to coach the game of football now, added some development. But the list of coaches they had before with Dooley and Kiffin, and I know I'm missing one or two, but
they're organized. It doesn't matter who you pick. They talking about Jason Witten had a chance for the job here. Like
they want to continue
that tells me you don't know what you're doing. Like we're just flying by the seat of our pants.
Then even with Greg Schiano, look, some people say that he'll be a great choice for Tennessee. Me personally, would not think so.
I didn't even know he was still alive. I forgot all about Greg Schiano. That's something that I learned. Like Greg Schiano, who thought of him?
Wait,
look, he was the DC at Ohio State, and Ohio State had a really good defense the last couple of years.
But I hadn't heard his name in so long. I'm like, who?
Last time he was relevant, of course, is when he was at the Rutgers football team.
Yes.
And everybody knew Rutgers was a pretty decent team when he was there, and then he decided to go to the NFL, turn Tampa Bay into a mediocre NFL team from there, and then went back to college football ranks, which is doing decently at Ohio State. I won't say the best, but I say decent as a defensive coordinator for Ohio State. Right. And he's a good college coach, but I think some players, or not players, some coaches just need to stay as a assistant, and some coaches need to stay as a head coach.
Yeah.
Greg Schiano needs to stay as an assistant.
Josh talking about T. Martin would have a little bit extra time since Fulmer's the AD at school now.
Well, I mean,
buy him some extra time.
Fulmer coached him, so it's the relationship is there. It can happen.
Listen,
but it just Tennessee as a whole. It needs some Band-Aids right now. It needs some big behind Band-Aids.
Need some prayer.
It's some communion bread and communion wine, huh?
Holy oil, everything.
But whoever gets that job, like you said, Brandon, needs to make sure.
Well, look, I hope they stay down for a couple of years because we need that win in the SEC East. That's a guaranteed win now.
Emma's back at Florida, so we'll see how that goes. Personally, I don't think it'll help out that much a deal for Florida, but Emma's is decent coach for Mississippi State, but.
Well, Florida has all the talent in the world, just that state alone. So now he can recruit against Florida State again. He can recruit against UCF, South Florida, or what have you. So I think Florida will be relevant here in another year or two.
Yeah. Does Brent Venables take one of these jobs?
He should.
Because I was listening to the radio today and they asked the questions like, okay, he's 46 years old. He's had his name come up multiple times over the years. But he's never left to take one of these other jobs.
Because he getting paid pretty good money at Clemson. And must deserve, shall I say. Clemson's defense is one of the top defenses for the last 4 or 5 years since he's been here from Oklahoma. When he was at Oklahoma, he was a decent defensive coordinator too for the Sooners. And, Clemson saw that, got him there because the defense Clemson had before Vince got there was horrific. Like, horrific.
Two things.
The capital H.
A, if he takes one of these jobs, how does that affect Clemson?
It will affect dramatically. Because Venables brought that energy too.
I think it will because Venables is going to take a job here shortly, and Tennessee may be that job. Now, of course, he's a K-State grad, so he may be waiting on the guy out there to retire finally. He retired and he came back, so that's his alma mater. So he may be waiting to go back out in the Midwest there. So he got upset because when he was the DC at Oklahoma, Stoops brought in his brother and made him co-defensive coordinator. So that was almost like a demotion for him. So now he comes here to Clemson and they're tearing it up, as much as I hate to say that.
Now, does he wait for Dabo to potentially leave?
What's that?
Is he trying to wait Dabo out to potentially go to Alabama when Nick Saban retires and then he take over Clemson?
Nah.
You believe Dabo's going to go to Alabama.
So you don't think Dabo's thought about it?
No. I don't think he's going to Alabama. Listen. He going to get a statue here in Clemson once he at this point is all said. Yeah. He ain't going to Alabama.
Dabo's going to lose 2 coordinators this year. Trust me on that. South Alabama is after Jeff Scott right now. And even though Clemson pays good money, if you're a head coach, DC, Venables making $2 million a year. Tennessee are giving $4 or $5 million a year. Is it all about the money, though? I'd go for the money.
Exactly.
Clemson's on the verge of same thing what happened before. Todd Elliott, what's it? Todd Elliott, that's his name. From Clemson, the offensive coordinator. He's possibly going to UCF. So you got Elliott, you got Venables, who's pretty much hot topics there, and they're pretty good at what they do. So just looking at how Dabo developed the system at Clemson from getting his butt spanked over the years of Spurrier, he said, okay, this is not going to happen no more. Let me give me some coaches, let me give me some players to make sure this don't happen no more, or else they'll be kicking me out like they did Tommy Bowden some years ago. So he done good. Dabo knew that if he turned this thing around, some of his coaches might be able to leave. So it's coming to fruition about who might go, who might stay. And Venables is pretty much a hot topic.
Wherever the money is, that's where they're going.
Yeah.
Clearly, what's his face? Jimbo has 75 million reasons to go.
Yeah. Hey, that's set the bar right now. And so you see Auburn had to pony up to keep Miles on.
And you see Kevin Sumlin. I don't know who Kevin Sumlin's agent is, but I need him. They have to pay this man all these millions within 60 days. He can still go get another job.
Give me my money. What's that Rihanna song?
Look, he and them has some big pockets. They have some big pockets there. If they can pay him that buyout plus pay Jimbo $75 million,
Texas got some money.
Oh, the money is
there's
there.
some money in Texas.
A&M got some really good money. Texas Longhorns got some good money too.
Yeah.
Oklahoma got a lot of good money too.
Yeah, anybody in the Big 12. Big 12 ain't getting that much money.
Braylon said he don't believe in Jimbo.
Jimbo might be a scam, but that's Texas A&M believing that.
And then Josh said that Chad Morris left and Clemson's offense is still running. It's not about their coordinators. They got a whole culture there. Gary's not feeling your response.
Hey, Chad Morris is up for the Tennessee job as well. So he went out to SMU now. SMU's putting up some points. So hey, bring him back into the SEC.
Tennessee interviewed the coach from Purdue. They interviewed the coach from NC State.
They've interviewed everybody.
Yeah, except for me. So
put in an app. Go to the website.
Hey, I'll turn in and see what they say. But in the college football top four, if y'all haven't seen, Clemson is number 1, followed by number 2, Oklahoma. Number 3 is Georgia, and then but controversial number 4 is Alabama. The last 2-3 years has been very controversial, by the way. If y'all remember last year, it was a discussion between Ohio State and Penn State. Penn State was the Big Ten champions last year, but still got snubbed by Ohio State. They went to the top 4 and then got beat by Clemson in a shutout, 30-0. So this time around, Ohio State is not in, but Alabama is now in the top 4. They be taking on Clemson again this year, and then followed by Georgia and Oklahoma. We're going to talk about this more in the next segment with Mr. William Quackenbush, the host of 105.5 Out of Bounds, The War. So we should come back here on the Walk-Ons. We'll talk to him about Clemson being in the top 4, and then we're going to talk some more college football within the crew. So stay tuned right here on the Walk-Ons. William Quackenbush.
Yep.
Let's see if he pick up the phone this time.
Braylon said the committee got it right.
No.
Yes, they got it right.
No.
I don't think so.
Who should have been in there?
Southern Cal.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Their strength of schedule was the 11th. Number 11. It's all about the money for Alabama and Ohio State. Ohio State, we did you a solid last year putting you in there. You got blanked. All right, we're not doing that. You're not going to embarrass me again. We like Nick Saban. He done won multiple championships. Okay, we're going to do the money here. Fans are going to travel. People are going to pay for it. All right, cool.
I feel like Bama getting off reputation more than anything else.
Yeah. If Nick Saban wasn't the coach of Alabama and they hadn't won those championships in the last 2 years, this would not happen.
Yeah.
They would not be here.
Hey, Chris, you bring it in. How about that? We'll do some facts. Go ahead.
On the phone right now, folks.
No. Not like you got it. Okay, I do it. This how you do it.
I mean, I have my own personality. It's the way I do it.
I know, but this how I do it. All right, welcome back to the Walk-Ons. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media, on Facebook and on Twitter. And then follow our website at www.freethinkersradio.com. And also, if you'd like to be part of the show tonight, make sure you give us a call at 563-999-1634. And we love to hear from you. Can you do that?
Nah, that's not how I do it.
Megan, can you do that next time?
Yeah.
All right,
sure can, but wait, we need to practice it first.
No, ain't no time. We're on the air. I'll pay everybody to the test tonight. We got busted segments. On the phone with us, we got Mr. William Quackenbush. He is the host of Out of Bounds on 105.5 The War. William, how you feeling, man?
And I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me back again. It was fun last time. I know it wasn't as fun for all the Gamecocks on the show during the game, but it was fun for me to talk to you guys beforehand. I'll say that.
Appreciate it, man. I know our predictions was not up to accurate, but all the Clemson fans, you and Robbie and Tremaine, even though he's not a Clemson fan, but his score was also accurate when Carolina played Clemson a couple of Saturdays ago. And I have to say, I was totally wrong with my prediction on a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah, a couple of us are eating some crow right now, but we'll be okay.
Look, I'll say this. I don't really think you guys are wrong about South Carolina. I actually think that, contrary to what I thought would happen, I think Will Muschamp's actually doing a pretty good job. And I think he's building something that's, generally speaking, I was kind of, not necessarily impressed, but I'll say pleasantly surprised at the defense and the way that maybe the whole was greater than the sum of the parts in many ways. I didn't see a whole lot of NFL guys, first rounders out there, but I felt like the defense was pretty good. I just think people are missing on Clemson, man. I think the people, even Clemson people sometimes fail to recognize how dominant this Clemson program is right now in the national landscape. It's Clemson and Alabama at the top of the heap. And so when people think about games, I think a lot of Miami people had a right read on Miami. That defense was pretty good. They had athletes that were flying around making plays, and certainly, the magic of the turnover chain and all that. But what they were wrong on was Clemson and how dominant Clemson is and how much better Clemson is than everybody else. So you guys can take solace in that. But I actually thought it was a pretty accurate read on South Carolina. But I just think people are lowballing Clemson a little bit.
Yeah. But I do know our argument for today is Clemson the new kings of college football?
Yes.
And, my assessment of it is, over the last 3 years, Clemson has definitely caught up with Alabama in terms of athletes, in terms of coaching. And if you just look at the head-to-head matchups, of course, Alabama won the first time around, and then Clemson won the second time around. But the year prior to that, of course, Clemson defeated Oklahoma in the West Athletic Bowl, went 10-3, and then Alabama defeated Ohio State 12-2 for the Sugar Bowl. But just look at the comparisons between Alabama and Clemson. Will this year's matchup between these two, even though it's not for the national championship, but it's still in the playoffs, will this year's matchup determine who could be the new kings of college football?
I think so. I would say my hunch is that Clemson has at least caught up to Alabama and their peers right now, but that's really more of a snapshot of the moment. When you think of Alabama, you got to go all the way back to, I would even go back to 2007. I remember, I think it was the second to last Saturday of the season when Alabama lost to Louisiana Monroe in Nick Saban's first season. And everybody kind of freaked out there. Is Alabama beyond repair? And from that point on, starting in 2008 with the demolition of Clemson, the Georgia Dome, Alabama has reestablished itself as dominant. So they've done it over a number of years with a number of quarterbacks and coordinators and all kinds of transitions from huddling and going under center to more of a spread and a little bit of no huddle sprinkled in there. They've done it a lot of different ways. And so I would say that this game would prove that Clemson has caught up to Alabama. I think until Clemson does it for more time at this caliber, that you still have to consider Alabama the king. But I will say this, if you ask young coaches, honestly, who would you rather emulate, Dabo Swinney or Nick Saban? Would you rather build a program that looks like Dabo Swinney's and Nick Saban? I really think that Dabo Swinney would be the answer. I'll just be honest. I think it'd probably be like a 65-35 split there.
Oh, yeah.
I think they are running neck and neck right now, and this game may be the one that proves who's ahead. But I can tell you who I was really impressed with. Of course, I'm a Carolina graduate, Carolina fan forever. But Kelly Bryant really did a number on us. I wasn't sold on that guy most of the season, but the last few games, I'm telling you, that guy's really impressed me. And the way he shredded us, shredded Miami, I think he looked really, really good.
I think that's what a lot of people are missing, though. It's like, okay, Deshaun Watson was a lightning in a bottle situation there. Can anybody else do that? But he's actually game by game proving, okay, this isn't just Kelly Bryant, just like the coordinators and all that. It's not about that. It's actually a culture they've developed here. It's a system almost. It's just like Bill Belichick with the Patriots. There's a system.
Look, I agree with that. And listen, I think that there were a couple times in the broadcast on Saturday. I just went back and watched it actually right before you guys called to have me on, and Kirk Herbstreit compared Kelly Bryant to Cam Newton. Now, I would not say Kelly Bryant is Cam Newton. I would not say that Kelly Bryant is as talented as Cam Newton. I wouldn't say right. I mean, I wouldn't say Kelly Bryant is as talented as Deshaun Watson. But I think it's a fair argument to suggest that this offense right now is a better offense for what Clemson wants to do than last year's offense, where they turn it over a bunch in the red zone. They threw it more than they ran it. I think actually having Kelly Bryant in the offense and being better able to not necessarily convert third downs, but to convert drives, to score in the red zone, that kind of stuff. I think ultimately, Kelly Bryant has made this team a better team and a more efficient team than last year's bunch was. And I never thought I'd say that when I was fielding phone calls on our station before the season asking if Kelly Bryant was going to be a good wide receiver or tight end option this year. I don't think anybody thought Kelly Bryant would still be the quarterback on a team number one headed to the college football playoff.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, well, they're certainly clicking on all cylinders. So, who do you think is going to step up for your defense? That defensive line just killed us.
Jesus.
I mean, they were in that backfield, and I felt so sorry for Bentley all day.
It's all NFL.
This is not a Bentley anymore. This is the Model T back there.
Not only Bentley got pummeled, but of course the Miami QB got pummeled.
True.
Nine Wilkins is a beast. However he decided to go, I know Cleveland Browns would love to have him. Why not playing for that?
I'll be honest, man. I think the most underrated player in college football is Dorian O'Daniel. And I know I said that to you guys before the South Carolina game, and I said it before the Miami game. There were people out there somewhere that didn't vote him first team All-ACC, and I don't know what they were watching. I don't know if they were, high on something when they did. I have no idea.
Florida State.
But goodness gracious, this guy, probably. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He takes away matchups. Like, in fact, I was having a phone conversation with somebody today. What in the world are you going to do against Alabama, against Jalen Hurts, to stop him? Well, he's not going to beat you with his arms, so you got to stop him with your legs. Well, who do you call to do that? Dorian O'Daniel. I mean, he's like the guy that you call. He's like the Ghostbuster. He's the guy you call whenever you need to punch up the other team's best option. And I think he's the sort of the glue. But man, who's going to step up? I think one guy that impressed me early in the game from Miami or against Miami is Van Smith, the safety, second-year starter. He made a couple of critical errors against Alabama last year, but one thing, Alabama lost O.J. Howard, who I think had something like 63% of Alabama's receiving yards against Clemson in the two matchups previously. That guy was an absolute stud and a matchup nightmare. Even if he was there, I think Clemson matches up better with tight ends this year than they did in the past. And I think because of that, it's going to free up the safeties and those linebackers to make more plays in space. Van Smith cut down a couple of potential big plays for Miami because he flew downhill and made solid tackles at the line of scrimmage. And I'm a big fan of the way he's playing right now. So if there's a guy that's not getting a whole lot of love, not the Ryan Carter's story has been told. He had interception last week, and guys like O'Daniel and guys like that are, their stories have been told. But I really think it's going to be Van Smith making an impact against Alabama.
Hey, we discussed it a little earlier, but I want to get your take on this. Of course, Clemson has some of the best coordinators in the country right now. And so, Venable's name has been out there, maybe linked to Tennessee, maybe linked to Arkansas. Then, of course, Jeff Scott, possibly to South Alabama. What do you see on those?
I think everybody's going to stay intact. I've said before, and I'll say again, I think the guy most likely to take a head coaching job this offseason is Tony Elliott, and it seems like the ship sailed for him at UCF. It sounds like South Alabama, maybe based on something I read about an hour ago, maybe zeroing in on the Central Arkansas coach. Don't know much about him, but that would seem to be a pretty good hire for a sitting head coach for a team that's 4-8, like South Alabama. And then for Venables, I never really bought the idea that he would go to Tennessee. That situation is just not stable, and he's perfectly comfortable making $1.5 million here, at Clemson, coaching the defense. I thought Arkansas was a better fit, but Chad Morris looks like he's there now. So I actually think Clemson's going to be good on that front.
Oh, well, we'll be back at this commercial break.
This is.
Hey, William, I got a question for you while we're on commercial.
All right.
What do you think about Trevor Lawrence? Should Kelly Bryant be in fear of his position potentially?
Nah, I think he should because I think that will make him better. But it's kind of like Alabama when they brought in Tua Tagovailoa this year. If he gets in the national championship, he's going to be like Jalen Hurts, where he's going to be the starter just because. Okay. And then Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best player, though. He's the guy's baller.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so too.
Oh yeah,
that kid's nice.
Yeah, I love him. And you know what? People think Hunter Johnson's going to transfer. I think it'll be Cooper transferring. I think Hunter Johnson stays, and he may beat out Lawrence.
I think so.
Okay.
He's really good, man. Hunter Johnson's better than people probably think because he's not being asked to run a lot of the offense. But the ball coming out of his hand looks like Deshaun. for real.
Oh, that's a bold statement there, Will.
That's good right there.
for what I saw.
Look, I hate to say this, but I think he's out of there. I would be out of there.
You think he's gone?
I think he's gone.
I think it makes sense in this era of college football that if you're going to be second or third string quarterback and you're really, really good, that you would leave. I've been told that Hunter Johnson's got he's got other concerns outside of football that he feels he can accomplish here at Clemson. And so if that's the case, if he's looking to do something else besides just one-track-minded NFL, then maybe he stays and maybe he surprises us all. But I agree. From the outside looking in, it seems unlikely that he stays.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Walk-Ons. Make sure you follow us on our social media on Facebook and Twitter. And also, if you'd like to be part of the show tonight, give us a call at 563-999-1634. We'd love to hear from you, and visit our website at www.freethinkersradio.com. I think I said www kind of like double for some reason.
Yeah.
That's what it sound like?
Look. A little bit.
You all right, Megan?
Hey, we've been talking a lot of football here, but I got a basketball question for you.
All
right. So now, Tony's been gone as far as the play-by-play. Are you going to continue on with that with Don Munson, or what's going to happen with that?
I hope so. This year Don has kind of slid into that men's play-by-play gig and done a really good job. I got to be down with the men's team down in Charleston for 3 games, down at the Charleston Classic. Loved it. Terrence Oglesby was a classmate of mine at Clemson. We were friends in college, and to have him back and doing those games, that was awesome. But I actually like what I'm doing with the women's team. We just got done with 3 games in 5 days. I know the Gamecocks took us behind the woodshed a little bit, but that's to be expected. Dawn Staley's built a legit powerhouse there. They're unbelievable and a lot of fun to watch from my perspective. But Lady Tigers, three wins in 5 days, won in Nebraska and won ACC Big Ten Challenge. With 3,700 people in the gym, came from behind, down 5 with a minute and 40-some seconds left. And then last night went to Louisiana Tech in a tough place where the crowd was into it and up by 2 with about 3 minutes left, and then didn't allow Louisiana Tech to score the rest of the way. So, man, I love what I'm doing. Kelly Graham is a great partner, and I hope to call him in. I love Coach Brownell and his staff. I think they do a really good job. But I'm perfectly content if they want to keep me in women's basketball. Man, I love that staff too, and love what I'm doing.
Awesome. Hey, Coach. I said Coach. Hey, Will. Now, we also had this discussion earlier in the show about Alabama and Ohio State. Who do you believe should have been in that 4th spot in the college football playoffs?
Now, y'all asking me the tough questions, but I hate this question. And the reason is because, this is the trump card everybody plays. I actually made the argument against Alabama on principle, but then somebody was like, all right, Quark, who's a better team? Who's a better team? And I got to say Alabama. And the reason you got to say Alabama is because when you're asking the question who's better, that's like my opinion based on what I've seen. I think Alabama's better than Ohio State. My beef is simply this with the system. We said before conference championship week that Auburn was number 2, that Georgia was number 6, and that Alabama was between the 2 of them.
That's all that right now. Auburn was number 2 with 2 losses.
That's correct. So, whatever your feelings are about that, I mean, to me, that's what the committee told us. But then Alabama got to sit at home while Auburn had to put itself at risk in a neutral field with a hobbled running back, while, by the way, Alabama's hobbled linebackers got to sit home and rest in an ice bath for a week. They didn't have to worry about it, and they get to go to finals without worrying about it.
Shout out to Christian Miller. That's my buddy. What's up, Chris?
I mean, I'm just saying, and look, I told somebody the other day, if Christian Miller and those guys can go, then Clemson's got a problem. If they can't go, then Clemson's going to do whatever it wants, and it's going to look like Mississippi State did, and it's going to look like Auburn did against Alabama. But if those guys are healthy, it's a whole different ball game. And so, I'm just thinking, if you put Alabama at risk against Georgia, I don't think Alabama beats them either. But because Alabama accomplished less in the regular season, we let them sit at home while Auburn had to play an additional game. I don't think we should reward teams for losing and penalize teams for winning games. But that's what we do with these conference championships. So that's why I say I don't like the way Alabama moved up, just like I don't like the way Ohio State moved up into the rankings last year. I thought you needed to put a team in based on the system we have now that's a little bit convoluted and whatnot. I think you've got to put a team in that's played the maximum number of games. And so I would have gone with Ohio State, even though I think Alabama's better.
So with the issues that you have with the current system for the playoffs, would you agree that maybe they need to extend the number of teams from 4 to 6?
I really don't, and here's the reason for it. I think you could solve this very easily by saying, okay, look, we got a 12-game schedule, and the reason is because they don't want to add another game, and I feel like that's going to be a whole ordeal if you're asking teams to play, a 16th game. Then you're going to run into the same issues about paying players and all that, which maybe we need to have that discussion, but I feel like it's just going to open up a whole can of worms. I think you've got to either say this, and I had a caller bring this up to me yesterday on our show. He said, if you're not in the top 4 before conference championships play and you don't compete in a conference championship game, you can't go in. In other words, if you're Alabama and you're number 4 before conference championships are played and the committee wants to keep you there, that's fine. But you can't move up because somebody lost in a game that you weren't good enough to play in. My argument is if you just let the committee kind of shut it down after the regular season and say, okay, here's 1 to 12. Everybody plays 12 games. We're apples to apples as much as we can in comparison. Now we picked our 4 teams. Now, if you want to go play for your conference championship, which matters in your conference, that's totally fine. But I feel like the need for conference championship games has kind of gone away with the playoff committee and the ability to judge whether a team's good or not. So I would say one of those two things is better than what we have now, which is basically penalizing teams for being better than other teams.
Yeah, and my argument would be, I would say 6 because you got the Power 5 conferences, and then you got that 6th slot that could be a at-large bid. You got 6 New Year's Day bowls, so that those could be used to get those games in to get the playoffs set. But I can see your argument as for keeping it at 4, but I also see it at making it 6, so all this drama won't be, just like the BCS. The BCS was affected because of all the little stats and points and stuff like that, but at the same time, it could go either way though. But we got to definitely finish this conversation next time. As we're out of time, we got to go to our next topic, but we'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, good talking
thanks
to you.
very much, guys. That was fun. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're back on the
Appreciate it, man.
All right, have a good.
You've made the fastest growing music app in the U.S.
Y'all good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Music and radio stations in one free app.
Make sure y'all stay tuned on our Facebook Live. We got the last support coming up with Megan. Oh, that.
Okay.
Sound like QVC just now, huh?
It's that time of year, too.
Oh, yeah. Visit Amazon. They got some good deals going on.
Play.
If you'd like to be part of the show, you give us a call at 563-999-1634. We'd love to hear from you. And also comment on our Facebook page. If you got any comments or questions throughout the show, we'll be answering those throughout the night.
Now on demand.
This is Darius Rucker. Listen to the Walk-Ons on Free Thinkers Radio.
All right.
Megan, bring us back in.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been waiting on this.
It's your time to shine.
All right. So we have a couple of topics to talk about this.
What do they do first?
We're going to do this live on the air or on the podcast.
Thank you for watching the Walk-Ons Radio.
All right, we take that. Welcome back to the show. Visit our social media on iTunes and iHeartRadio, and then follow us on our social media on Facebook and Twitter, and visit our website at www.freethinkersradio.com. Brandon, Gary, y'all next. All right.
We got it.
For everybody in the spotlight tonight. Next topic of discussing football and concussions. Y'all pretty much probably saw this many times throughout the season and throughout the years of concussions in football. And just last night, that could be a prime example. It wasn't a concussion, but those type of injuries, players getting caught off the field because of blows to the head or targeting, is very at a high risk in this day and age in football. I don't know if it's because of the helmets that's being made or whatnot, but of course the discussion of concussions to be taken more seriously as for the game of football is getting more dangerous day in, day out, especially in high school ranks and the Little League play. So,
well, you have better equipment, but just looking at some of the pro games over this past weekend and then the Monday night game last night, sometimes it's up to the players. You saw the hit that Gronk did on the guy, defenseless.
And he said it wasn't even wrong.
I know,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's all.
And people are getting away from technique in general, and they're, just focusing on just playing,
Yeah, well, now he has that guy in concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, now, Burfict, who's just like one of the most dirtiest players in the league, and you saw what he did to Antonio Brown, So he got payback last night. But,
that was not a dirty hit on Perfect at all.
But are we going to go head hunting? Because after he did it, he stood over him. And then, of course, he got a penalty for standing over him and unsportsmanlike conduct or what have you. But, yeah, he head hunted that guy.
Yeah.
It was a great hit, though. It was a great hit.
He loves great hit.
He hit him in the chest. Listen,
it could be more
hit hard.
Maybe more days, but the one that Guac did on Sunday, that was completely
classless. It was dirty.
It was
gross.
It could have been a different way. He could have been hit, and that could be a concussion. He could be going to the hospital while
like Shazier's going to the hospital. Because you get a neck injury, like that can go all sorts of ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they doing studies on the CTE scans on deceased athletes, especially the most famous one is Aaron Hernandez, who committed suicide in jail. But according to his CTE scan, his was up there as for damage to his brain. So what more can the NFL do to make this stuff?
Yeah, he was damaged as a murderer, but
yeah,
but what they are doing now is so many studies that are out there, and people are talking about should the younger kids be playing this or that, because it's even trickling down into other sports. If you go down to soccer for the smaller kids, they can't even head the ball until a certain age now because they're worried about their brains developing and everything on that. So it's a lot of stuff that still needs to be studied. But for me, as a parent, I let my kids play. For me, it's all about camaraderie. And if you teach the proper technique and the kids abide by that, they should be okay.
One thing I think the NFL could do, I think, is they could send out more information to its audience, the viewers, so that they can make their own decision whether or not they want their children to play football or not. I think to this point, they've already made so many rule changes within the game. I think 16 games is a reasonable amount of games to be played, so I don't really see the reason to decrease the amount of games. What more can they really do? Football is a violent sport. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hit. There's not really much they can do to change it, really, So
unless you're gonna play flag, isn't it? It's a personal thing. You can coach somebody the right way all you want to. If I go out here and I play the right way, but the person playing against me is not gonna play the right way, I can't control them.
Yeah.
And then when you got bang bang plays, like if I'm going to tackle somebody the right way, but they all of a sudden jerk to one side at the last minute, I can't control that. I'm already going in a certain direction. Like you really can't prevent it completely.
If it's deliberately trying to give you a concussion, like we saw on Monday night, or what Guac did try to do on Sunday, or these other plays that we saw throughout the year, then of course that could be a different discussion about what more can they do. That's why they enforce the targeting rule in the NFL and college football. Some of them can be described as not targeting. That's why they review it to reverse it, and some of them can be. It's just how people play football nowadays. It wasn't like that before. Well, I'll take it back. It was like that before, but it wasn't just as focused as it is now.
Yeah, but you see more medical personnel on the field, and now before where a guy was just dangling or what have you, they would get back up, stagger off, and come back in for the next play. Now you got to go through all of these series of tests before they'll even let you back on the field, and in most instances, they're going to take you out of the game.
True. Now it's making injuries worse though, because now if I'm a defensive player, you're gonna tell me I can't hit people now, like I'm used to hitting people. Okay,
but that's how injuries can be happen if people don't tackle the right way.
It's like, look, I can't hit people up top like I used to. Okay, so to avoid that, I'm gonna hit him down low. Now I take out his leg. Now he's done for his whole career.
And
now it's a problem.
See, that's why I believe some of these rules are not necessary. If you go for the knees, they're gonna enforce the Tom Brady rule. Do not hit the quarterback at the knees, which I believe is understandable because they're not moving around. But still, they call clipping. They call the Tom Brady rule. Do not hit the knee. And then up high, you got do not hit in the helmet or decline your helmet. This can be understandable because that causes concussions. But if you are focusing on how to tackle, you'll get hit too. Because you'll be thinking the whole time, okay, how am I going to tackle this person? How am I going to hit this person? Anything, it's going to delay the game because it's going to slow down the game, one. Two, it might cause bodily harm to the other person who is trying to do the tackle. And knowing how I play football at the White Knoll as a defensive lineman. And one thing that always stayed in my mind as I try to go for the tackle, do not get blindsided. Because those things hurt.
Exactly.
They really do. I got blindsided only one time, thank God. But at the same time, it's you can't really prevent yourself from getting hit like that or causing a hit against the person. Because some people might be going low and you going low too, and that still causes body harm to the person.
Like you got quarterbacks that wait till the very last second. Now all of a sudden you want to slide.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm already coming to hit you midsection at this point in sternum, and then you all of a sudden, okay, now I want to slide, and then you get hit in the head. That's not on me. That's on you.
Yeah.
Well, I think as adults, if you're going out there and playing this game, it's a violent game. You know what the ramifications may be. You're going to get hit, and you know what the ramifications may be down the road, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. If you're going to make these millions of dollars and you're going to make that now, and then you're going to worry about, well, what's my health insurance going to be down the road or what have you. You got to think about the present now. You got families now. Your future is now. So I would say go out, make your money, and then down the road, you just have to know this may be a cause. I may have dementia. I may have these other effects. So
I don't feel bad for him. Like, okay, you're making, let's say you make $90 million over the course of your career. Or you made $90 million. You got the military, police, firefighters, EMCs, all these people put their lives on the line every
social workers.
Listen, we'll get into that off the air.
Oh, yeah.
But for $30,000 a year is like, you made $90 million. I don't feel sorry for you in any
It's like
way, shape,
they
or
paying
form.
for your health care.
Then the NFL really doesn't care about concussions.
Well,
If that's the case, then Rob Gronkowski would have been
No.
suspended at least 3 games. They care about concussions when it affects someone that they like. If Tom Brady gets a concussion, it's a big deal to whoever hit him.
Yeah, I like the comment Josh said on Facebook. If the man Gronk hit had the same injury Chaser had, the NFL will be in serious trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Chaser didn't feel nothing in his legs when he got hit last night. But at the same time, you know, what the NFL argument might be is, okay, we established the concussion protocol. Okay, but some teams don't follow that. I already know that for a fact. If Tom Brady got hit in the head, they're going to try to get him back on the field as quickly as possible.
Oh, we just saw that with Seattle and Russell Wilson. They put him right back in the game.
Yeah, because they know if they take him out, they're going to lose the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. They care about winning and the money.
Yeah. So they, like you said, Chris, they don't really care about, some teams don't care about the actual protocol itself. And some teams got in trouble, and that's why they got the $150,000 fine for teams that don't follow that.
If a star gets hurt, it's a big deal. If a star that's like one of the faces of the league or in a lot of commercials causes the injury, then they try to sweep it under the rug. One game?
Game.
Really?
That's ridiculous.
Had that been Pat-Man Jones? Okay.
Oh.
All right. We'll see how that goes.
Perfect.
Burf would be suspended the rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back on Walk-Ons. We got the last report. Miss Megan has it tonight, so make sure you stay tuned right here on the Walk-Ons. But yeah, that's a good discussion right there about, because especially in high school, I know they have stuff like that have to prevent it. So
yeah, I mean, I still let my kids play football. I mean, like, you can get hurt in any way doing anything. Walking across the street, so like.
Don Brigman says NFL football is going to be tag football in 3 years.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
that's what they're going towards. Now it's so soft to the point where somebody
in
gets
3 years
hard.
That's
even is right.
I wouldn't say it's soft. I think it's just they're being very careful.
But in the sport in general, is you pick your poison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's you. Some will, some won't.
I mean, the players they know the
risk.
risk, you know, of playing. So I mean, it's up to them.
As long as they know the risk.
You go out there and you're careful. That's when you're really going to get hurt.
Because you're trying too much. Okay, I don't want to do like this. Nah. Yeah. We haven't seen this many injuries ever before that I can see.
To so many star players too.
Exactly. Everybody's injured right now.
Yeah. Is it people are getting away from technique? It's not. They're not focusing on the right parts of things.
Hey guys, this is Robbie.
All right, here we go. We got 5 minutes, so we got to speed this. All right.
Right.
All right, here we go. We're bringing it back in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the show. It's time for the last report with Megan. Here we go.
All right. So Robert Horry punches thrown at youth 3-on-3 basketball tournament in L.A.
Go L.A.
Fighting around the kids. Retired NBA basketball player and current sports commentator Robert Horry got in a fight at his kids' 3-on-3 basketball tourney the weekend of August 8th. Witnesses say a man affiliated with the opposing team had words with Horry throughout the game, and when he was approached, he pushed him. Horry then responded with his fists. Punches were thrown, and a fight broke out. It's as of right now, it's unclear if any punches landed, but Horry insists that he was simply defending himself. What do you think?
It was a fan of another team. Big Shot hit one of the closing game threes.
Yeah.
He was still mad about that. He was a little tight.
Horry
It's
still
never that serious.
Horry still be one of my best players in LA history. One of them. I say the best, but one of them.
He refused to be punked in front of his sons. I understand.
Hey, look. He still say he wants to be a legend.
Right.
He still wants a
You don't
statue.
fight in front of the kids. I don't care. They said that they were just making fun of him, and that's what they're.
He can't miss Horry.
I've seen
They're going to
worse.
do that to athletes.
I wish he would have ran up on Steven Jackson like that.
Oh,
He wouldn't have ran up on Steven Jackson like that, though. Guarantee you that much.
Dallas at the Palace.
Ran up on Ben Wallace.
With that afro spreading out. I know.
what?
Exactly, Josh. Talking about Robert Ory on that all hands team. You know, David West, Steven Jackson, all of them.
Ron Artest.
Yes.
Jeez.
Does anyone want to know how LeVar Ball feels about Byron Scott? Ex-LA Lakers coach Byron Scott has 2 words for LeVar Ball. Shut up. Because Ball recently laid into a current Lakers coach, Luke Walton, saying he's soft and doesn't know how to properly coach his son, Lonzo Ball. Scott drew on his 13-year playing career and 15-year head coaching career to offer some advice to elder Ball and various media outlets. I got so much more experience than you. And I have so much more experience doing this more than you'll ever have, especially in the NBA. Basically, I would probably just say, shut up. Just stay put, stay on the sidelines. We got this. And then what comes as a surprise to no one is Ball recently had a quick clap back.
Oh, God.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It won't be a big surprise, but you know.
He said, yeah, I got words for Byron Scott. Shut up and do what you do. Leave me alone. He ain't doing nothing now. Tell him if he wants his name in the news to go do something. You ain't got to talk about the ball to get your name in the news. But then again, yes, you do, because ain't nobody talking about Byron Scott doing anything.
Yes, you're right.
Byron Scott been on the jump with Rachel Nichols?
Ball is out of control. He is out
They're
of
both
control.
right. LeVar don't need to be telling them how to coach, but at the same time, Luke, if his shot ain't falling, listen, tell him stop taking. We're not taking threes tonight. Like, it's like they're scared to tell him he can't do.
No, he won't shoot the ball. If he's going to be out there starting, you put up 4 and 5 shots a game.
I'm gonna make him start just like when you start out.
You can't be afraid to shoot
start with
the
layups,
ball.
Start making those. We start backing out again.
His confidence is gone. He's shooting less than 30% from the field.
It's a start, but I agree with you. The pressure from his,
Yeah, there's definitely pressure from his dad, man.
Yeah, but it's
I
still,
think he's still actually
early.
playing pretty well to me.
Yeah, like
just
he's
shooting.
averaging what, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. So like he's still contributing to the team.
He's playing well.
Thank you, Gary.
I mean, he's averaging 8.7 rebounds and 7 assists right now.
For a start, can you compare him to
For a
other
bench.
players?
Yes, you compare him to any point guard in the league right now, and just about every point guard in the league is outplaying him.
That's his age.
It's still early to me. I mean, it's only 23 games in. He has time.
I will say, I will agree, Brandon. You know, LeBron had his first year, struggles, and then 2 or 3 years he got good. But
23
that's all he
games
got.
is enough of a sample for me. And I
Laker
know
fan
because
says-
he's about to hit the college wall right now. Every rookie hits that about 30 games in because that's what they play in the normal college season. He's already hit that wall.
We got Laker fans in the inbox. They're not feeling your commentary right now. Barry.
What's the top 10 items we got for the Christmas list, Megan?
All right. So as everyone knows, Christmas is right around the corner, and we have compiled a list of items that athletes are asking for this Christmas. So the first thing is the Nike Elite socks. That's running about $13 to $14 a
It better make
pair.
you fly. $13.
Yeah, I'll take that.
13 for one pair.
Extra cushioning at the bottom.
Okay.
All right,
You
what
got-
else we got?
Beats by Dre Solo 3s.
Need those.
The most popular colors everyone is talking about is black or rose gold.
I want Gamecock colors.
Yep.
So you got slides to go with those Nike Elite socks.
Gotta have
Nike
slides.
Big baller.
Those are running up at about $20 a pair. And there's a specific kind that kids are wearing, or not kids, but athletes in general are asking for, and it's the JDIs. So,
Really?
padded compression pants and shorts. And that's they have it for several different sports. You have a lot.
Make you feel naked.
Yeah, a lot.
Pretty much.
A lot of athletes are asking for it for basketball, baseball, and football.
Mm-hmm.
Fitbit, Apple Watch, smartwatch, Android watches. So all of the smartwatches, Nike Elite backpack, the Adidas jogger sets. They're remixing them. It's bringing them back. Apple Music, Google Play gift cards, Gatorade gift packs, and the cooling towels.
Not the jock itch that we talked about. Jock itch should be in the top 10 right there.
That person knows who they are. They're just like jock itch.
And then our coworkers talk about a cup.
From the crew, we got Chris, Megan, Brandon, and Gary. See y'all next Tuesday.
All right.
That's a week before Christmas, so make sure you stay tuned right here on the Walk-On. See you next Tuesday, everybody.
All
All right.
Cool. That was good. Everybody on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in tonight. We still live. We'll see you next Tuesday night right here on Facebook Live. Make sure you share, comment, all that good stuff. And find us on our podcast on iTunes and on iHeartRadio. See you soon.
All right.